I tried using GPT to write an Excel office script, and honestly, at one point I was so frustrated. Let's rewind and see what happened. Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of Excel Office Script series. It's Kiki again. If you missed the first 2 episodes, check them out later. They walk through the journey from 0 to one-click automation. But don't worry, you can totally start here. So far, we have tried 2 things with Excel Office scripts. Part 1, use the Excel built-in sample scripts to clean our data step by step. Helpful, but we had to run them one by one. Part 2, recorded those steps from Part 1 into a single custom script that does the job in one click. More convenient, but it has limits. It follows exact clicks, some actions don't get tracked, others need manual code fixes. So if next month's file has more rows, different column orders, a new layout, things can break. That got me thinking, could AI fix that? Could tools like ChatGPT rebuild script from scratch, make it flexible, smarter, and still accessible with no coding knowledge? Now, I know I just said GPT, and yes, that's where I started. But after hours of trial and error, I decided to try something different, Claude. I gave it a full prompt describing everything I wanted Excel to do, the same steps from our earlier videos. I set the stage first, telling it to use Excel desktop and write a fully tabbed Office script code. Then I broke down tasks in order, and had rows and columns, convert data to a dynamic table, do cleanup and formatting, and finish with charts, pivots, and a slicer. I wrapped it up with some ground rules. No hard-coded ranges, everything must adjust automatically, and avoid unsupported methods. Claude read all that and returned a ready-to-run script. I copied the code, went to Excel, Automate, New Script. Excel automatically inserted a sample starter code here. Removed it, pasted in our code, and named the script KR8 Monthly Cleanup Updated. We tested with the same KR8 PyStore export. You'll find the sample files and full prompt linked in the description and pinned comment. Okay, hit run. And of course, error message. Totally expected. Let's take that and ask Claude to fix. Here is the exact follow-up prompt I used. I copied the output message, pasted them into the bracket, and did the same for problems message. My prompt emphasized few key things. Correct the full script, keep the original task and order, explain unsupported functions in Excel desktop, suggest record action as a last resort, and ensure all variables and ranges are dynamic. Every time Claude came back with an updated code and a full explanation, I copied and replaced it with the new code, saved the script, and rerun. It's down to 3 errors. Repeat several times. Besides the Excel messages, I also added my own observations when the script ran but didn't fully perform. That human feedback and AI iteration complemented each other, helping Claude fine-tune the next version of code. But last message of the day, on Claude's free plan, it gave me a working code, a clean run with only one minor performance warning, meaning the script might run slower if datasets gets larger, nothing that breaks functionality. The key? Refining iterations. Each run brings you closer. Here is what this AI-generated script can do. It auto-detects the table, even when Fabric data starts in column C instead of column A. It targets columns by header name, not fixed position. Quantity moved from the second to the last column of the table, and it still works. It handles different rows and columns counts. Fabric export has 14 rows, 2 rows more than January, and the script adapts. That fixes one of the biggest recording script limits we talked about in part 2. And it captures actions that recording script couldn't, like unhiding sheets or applying a pivot layout, both of which failed in the previous video. Now, a funny moment. I spent way too long trying to figure out why it kept highlighting blank cells in note column when I explicitly told it not to. It's a simple enough task, but it kept failing. Turns out my column name was notes, not note, plural. So, totally on me, not the AI. Same thing when I told it to freeze top row, which it did, but since my table starts at row 4, that meant it froze the wrong row. That was my prompt, not the bug. So, lesson learned, wording matters. Remember how I said I failed miserably before this? That was with GPT. I used the exact same prompt, but it struggled. GPT got pieces of the script working, enough to give me hope. I thought, almost there, just a few more iterations. But then every time I asked GPT to fix one thing, it broke another. One version could unhide all sheets perfectly, another removed hyperlinks, another inserted pages just right, but never 100% in one run. After hours of back and forth, I almost gave up. Then it came to my mind, wait, I heard Claude is better at writing code. Maybe one last try before calling it a day. And they saved me. Looking back, GPT sometimes loses earlier process or breaks features that were already working. Claude performs better with multi-step logic tasks. It keeps structure consistent, modifies only what's broken, solves issues one step at a time. That said, Claude isn't magic either. I still have to provide the sample script code before it could produce a fully working version. It confidently told me certain things like slicer creation and unhide worksheets weren't supported. Once I provided the sample script, suddenly those exact features worked perfectly. So it wasn't unsupported, it needed more context. I even asked Claude itself, do you think you would have gotten me a fully working Office script code based on my prompt, output, and problems message without me giving the code of sample script? And they said no. So yeah, for other tasks where no sample script exists, AI might not get all the way there. But Claude still tries. It lists features it can handle with success rates and suggests best practice for next time. It's not a magic no-code button we wish it was, but as a helper, incredibly powerful. So now I'm turning it over to you. What should we try next? Should we test the reverse? Record first, then ask AI to fix and optimize? Or see if Claude can build scripts incrementally, one section at a time without sample codes? Or maybe a hybrid. Use AI for the framework and fill gaps with record actions for unsupported parts. Drop your ideas in the comments. And as always, if this saved you time, hit like, subscribe, and check the playlist for more Excel and AI automation tips.